Hey everybody, what is up? It is I, Link, coming at you with some Darius gameplay. Just to start off, I did shrink the chat down because this cannon, as you will see really early, purposely feeds the enemy team. Not really much we can say, although Darius is a really nice champion, and let's just slow this down and look at him. His animations are really solid, his detail is very good, and I honestly like a lot of the things that they did for him. Now, this is going to be Kennen. Well, let's scroll out. This is going to be Kennen walking into the turret range, purposely killing himself, hoping that Ziggs will kill him, but Ziggs doesn't. He flashes away and gets executed. Anyway, me face checking against that and seeing up there Darius. I do lag a little bit in this gameplay, but anyway, I'm down here with a Vayne, the Heartseeker Vayne, I want to say. Top is the Temple Jax, mid is Vandal Vladimir, and normal Kennen is normal Kennen. I eat a spear right there, because there's a Nidalee and a Darius in the bot lane. Now let's talk a little bit about Darius. I started Darius with a longsword and a health potion. The reason I started with a longsword is because the items that he builds are needed, and a Doran's Blade really isn't that good for him. It doesn't give him... I mean, it gives him everything this does, but it doesn't give you a building item, which is kind of useless. This gives you the same amount of AD, but only 80 less health, which I covered by runes and masteries. But anyway, with Darius, for my runes, I chose some pretty simple ones. But we are going to go after this Darius. I'm going to pull him back with my E, and we're going to just sit here idle. It has the Kennen feeds First Blood to Ziggs. I'm not calling that real First Blood, though, because it really isn't. The real First Blood does actually come from the bot lane with me and the Vayne. So I'm playing very passively until I reach level 2 so I can get my abilities that'll help me with the actual gank, or, well, the actual killing. I'll run over his skill order in a second. Now, I just pulled them back and used my Q to do some nice damage, as you're going to see that I am going to max my... I'm going to max my... I think it's Q first, this gameplay. Jarvan going mid and getting wrecked by the Vladimir, and the Ziggs I think is the one that died. Yes, he is. So we're going after this Nidalee. Nidalee gets pushed against the wall, although she does come, or the Darius comes out getting killed. I eat the arrow, I pop my ghost just so I can get out of the room. Didn't notice she was out of mana, so it's kind of dumb on my part. Although Vayne does contemplate going back in there, but the Jarvan's up here, going after the Kennen just standing there taking the beating. Although Vladimir picks up a nice kill off of the Jarvan. Okay, now to Darius. Darius has, well, like all champions, 4 abilities, along with 1 passive. His passive is Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage does damage over time, depending on level, and depending on the amount of attack damage you have. I want to say it's 0.2 or 0.3 it scales off of. For every target that is currently has a stack of Hemorrhage on it, he does gain bonus movement speed. Hemorrhage stacks up to 5 times and does damage over time. Vayne actually picking up a kill there. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit so you can see me pulling him in, hitting with my Q, landing some basics on him. Vayne's going to start to help me in a matter of seconds. I put a skill into my W, slow him down when he has max stacks of Hemorrhage, make sure he's on the outside of my Q, and drop him, which is a good segue into what his Q does. His Q is Decimate. Decimate deals physical damage, and it scales about, I want to say 0.4, 0.5% of your max. As you can see, there's 2 rings. The inner ring is the one that does half damage. Well, actually, no, it does full damage. But then the outer ring does the additional 50% damage, which you'll see me trying to hit, because that's like the sweet spot of the ability, which does do quite a bit of damage. I actually think I'm putting points into my W first. Crippling Strike is what I put a point into during the fight with the other Darius. It's a basic attack that does extra damage, and it maxes at around 200. It slows the target's movement speed by about 50 for 2 or 3 seconds, can't remember, at level 5. Crippling Strike's cooldown is reduced by 1 for every stack of Hemorrhage. At level 5, its cooldown is 5.6 seconds. So if they have full stacks of Hemorrhage and they're in a fight with you, you can continue to spam this until you run out of mana, or they die. Then you have Apprehend, which is the pulling ability. Over time, it grants you passive armor penetration up to a cap, which is 25, and its active is it just pulls an enemy close to you. It is a conal effect, so it will, if you're standing at the front of melee enemies, it would grab all of these and pull them into him. I keep eating all these niddly spears while I'm trying to actually just get around to hurting them. Getting pulled in by his Apprehend, hit with his Q, getting blocked up by minions. Vayne trying to save my life with her Condemned Arrow. Doesn't do work, but she gets out safely. Has that niddly arrow, almost kills her. Now we're not going to cover my ultimate yet, because it's not really relevant until I can actually use it. So, we have our Kennen that I think is fed quite a bit. Vayne dying to the Darius, although I'm going to run in here in a matter of seconds and go after their Darius. Gonna just sprint past, try apprehending through the bush, realize he didn't stop, and just return just a little bit so I can go in CS. As you can tell by my build order, I'm going for an early phage, mostly for the tankiness and for the extra slow that it has during basics. Because the thing with him is, before you want to use your Crippling Strike, you want to get a couple basics on them. And if you slow them and lock them up, that's even better. Now, that's a good thing about this champion, although we do come in here, I do some nice damage, and Vayne does pick her up with the Silver Bolt, with the Silver Bolt's third strike. Mid, we have Vladimir killing the Darius, who left our lane, troll pulling up to the Jarvan. Jarvan now landing an Ignite. Vladimir running back, getting hit inside of his Pandemic. I can't remember the name of the Jarvan ult. I really can't. The Battle Arena, for lack of better words. And getting destroyed by turret. Jarvan somewhat low, taking shots at the turret, and now returning back. The Temple Jack's going to see if he can do anything to him. Not much he can. Although we do take the bottom turret with ease at the 9-minute mark. And as you're going to see throughout this game, I don't get fed, but I still can do a lot of damage. So we're going to speed this up, because not much does happen in this small section. Although the other Darius does keep coming back, and I do die to his Hemorrhage stacks. He had 4 of them, so they were going to take quite a bit of my health. Although Vayne does go by and kill the Nidalee after I die to the Bleed Out. Also, you are going to notice that the UI is a little bit smaller, and I took away the bars, mostly for your guys' convenience and the fact that I like having a more minimalistic setting now. I wish they could allow you to scale the minimap too, along with the text field and the UI. Anyway, I go up here to try and help Vayne. I do land my Q, and then I slow him with my W, so that Vayne can get safely back to turret. And then I'm going to sit here and just watch turret. He uses his ulti on me, I use my ult on him. Not much we can really do. We weren't close enough for the full effect. Although Vayne does go in there, goes after their Darius, misses. I do land my Ignite and grab a nice kill on him. What I think now is a good time to explain his ultimate. After we look up here and see the Jarvan and the Kennen going after each other, the Kennen does lose, although it's to be expected. No kills, no farm, no nothing. Rumble coming down from top, and Vlad actually just now reconnecting. He did disconnect a couple seconds ago. Anyway, perfect time to talk about the Noxian Guillotine. For the cost of 100 mana and a nice cooldown, he leaps into the air and does a lethal blow, dealing, I want to say it's 0.5 yet again, of his maximum AD to the target, doing true damage, so it's unblockable. For every stack of Hemorrhage, he does an extra 20%, which is very good. And Rumble actually coming down from top, they're going to completely annihilate me, go after me. Jarvan's going to try and lock the Vayne. Vayne's going to do some nice damage and pick up both of those. As Rumble comes down, I probably could have went after him and guillotined him dead. But anyway, back to this. For every stack of Hemorrhage, you gain 20% extra. Right now my current cap is 403 damage, which, as early game, could easily pick up this Rumble if he didn't have his shield on. I go out there trying to help the Kennen, forget that it was a troll Kennen, and yeah, that happens. Anyway, the cooldown is refreshed if it does kill a target, which means if there's a lot of low people, he could pretty much bounce around like Fiora during her ultimate, except doing much more damage and still having control of the character. Kennen going after the Nidalee, just standing there taking a beating, waiting for the Nidalee. Although I do return to lane, and he decides to start attacking her. So I do run up there, try apprehend, miss, gonna run, dodge her arrow, or spear, and then go right back to lane. Yet again, not much really to talk about. This is idle time. Jarvan does come down with her, and I pinged a Vayne that I want to go after their Darius, who has been fed by the Kennen, so it makes my life 4 times more miserable. Anyway, now his minions turned on me, the Jax getting here, him guillotining me, and the minions actually are the ones that picked me up. Although the Jax does go in with his ulti, doing some nice damage to the Darius. Anyway, the Kennen now going in and trying to stun up the Darius, giving him another kill, but the Jax does continue without any avail, as he gets away without taking any without taking anything against his own team. As in, he didn't die and didn't feed our Jax, a nice shutdown. Now, we're reaching about the halfway mark of this gameplay. As you can see, it's about a 30-minute gameplay. Right up here, Vladimir getting caught out of position along with the Vayne. Vayne does go here. I do sit over here and wait for her to actually get safe. She decides not to return, although this does help us pick up a Nidalee. And I am actually being chased by this Darius, who cannot catch me, because I bought the right boots for Darius. He's pretty much the evil brother of Garen. He gets away with 2 health before my hemorrhage stacks went away. Now you're going to notice I went with level 3 boots, because he's slow and he also needs to chase. His E can lock someone up, and along with his Q and a frozen mallet can lock someone up completely. And if that's all you have to do when you're next to him, because once you can get his W up and spammable, he's pretty much unstoppable during that fight. Now you're going to see me picking up in a matter of seconds the frozen mallet, and I actually do pick up something for the pickaxe as well. It gives me a little bit more armor penetration, so you can probably guess it's the Last Whisper. I already have 25 basic, plus from my runes, I think I have a little bit more from my runes. Let's see, 25, 33, that's 8. So I have 8 from my runes and my mastery page. Anyway, we're gonna go and have a nice fight with this Darius underneath this turret. He ulties, I ulti him. I ultied first, so he was just jumping in the air. I completely knock him out. I am very low. I'm going to run for my life into the bush. And thank God the Nidalee didn't see me, or else I would have been destroyed. Now, back at spawn, picking up a longsword. And then going right back out to the fight. The Vayne and the Kennen. The Vayne does dash through the wall as the Vladimir goes after the Jarvan, who completely locks him up. I go after their Nidalee. And then Jarvan comes over here. I try my hardest to get to him. He's just a little bit faster than me, and I couldn't make the ground. Though we do turn on this Darius and do some nice damage. Those streaks coming out of nowhere, telling me where he is at. I'm gonna try and do some nice damage while harassing him under turret. Although he does get the drop on me, doing some nice damage as Jax comes in to save me. Thank you, Jax. I actually do turn around and start picking up minions since there is no one here, and I do have lifesteal runes. Picking up the Last Whisper, which gives me 40% more penetration, so I'm actually at 60, which I don't know if that is the cap or not, but I am ignoring 21% of all their armor on their team, which is 2.1% of all damage extra going in, or is it double? I can't remember. Excuse me yet again. Now, we are reaching the 25-minute mark, so actually let's just slow this down and look at the builds. That Nidalee's build. 2 pro. But anyway, that Kennen goes in there going after blue buff and completely gets destroyed as the Dragon Blast goes after Jarvan yet again, slowing down my game. I do try and grab someone through the wall, and I realize that I shouldn't be here right now. A couple other things about Darius is that he has some really nice animations. He has a custom return animation. Anyway, I do pull her in. grab her with the Noxian Guillotine as we go after the Jarvan, who locks himself up as he gets hit with my Ignite, and I keep slowing him with my E, and I'm about ready to ult him. I am in the middle of the ult as the Jax picks him up with the Grandmaster Strike. Vayne building a Hextech Gunblade along with her Bloodthirster. Vladimir going pretty good. Should have gotten a Rod of Ages, mostly for the health, but hey, he's doing some nice damage. Me with a Frozen Mallet, Armor Penetration, and level 3 boots. Vladimir does get picked up top as me and Jax take out this turret, and the Vayne does try to turn on the Darius, but she uses Condemned Arrow to get him away, and he dies to her Ignite. Now going after the Nidalee here, we're going to do some nice damage and pick her up as Jax Grandmaster strikes her yet again. Kennen, complete troll build. There Darius, much more fed than I am. Picking up a Bloodthirster, and what looks like he's building a Aegis of the Legion, so I'm not quite sure what he's going there. And by Aegis, I'm not sure what he's building with those two items. Maybe Thornmail? Their Nidalee build, 2 Pro. Their Rumble build, never really seen a Rumble build, so I'm guessing that's okay. There's Ziggs. I think he rage quit. Yeah, he rage quit. And their Jarvan going pretty good. Now, speaking of Jarvan, I actually rip him out from underneath his turrets, try doing some damage before he leaves, although our Kennen... Why do I even care about the Kennen? Our Vayne up top, getting surrounded by 3 of them, not her brightest idea. I try to come in next to her so I can do some nice damage. Taking the Nidalee arrow for her, because I do have more health than she does. Now this is more of a matter of what's going to happen. I try to turn on this Darius as the Jax is here. We do some nice damage as the Jax gets stuck in between the Jarvan and the Nidalee. I'm going to go help him. I'm going to yank the Nidalee to the side along with the Jarvan, start doing some nice damage. As their Darius comes by over the corner, I realize it's too late and I'm going to die. Vayne, now knowing that there's nothing else, the Kennen in chat actually does type where she's sitting and says that she's at red and that she's at Baron. Really, I don't like this Kennen. He's just... I reported him after the game, I have to say that much. Anyway, this gameplay is coming to a close, and there's not much really left to say. Darius is a fun champ to play. I may get him, depending on what his skin is yet again, because I have just enough RP to buy him and a skin, and I'm waiting for that perfect champion that I actually enjoy to be the one. Let's see. Yeah, the Kennen walking into the Darius, giving him yet again another stack. Me and this Jax just ripping through bot turrets, picking up the Nidalee, going after their Darius, Noxian guillotining him dead. I don't even know if that was a real verb. Huh. Anyway, we're going to take out the 3rd of their inhibitors, and we're just going to completely turn on them. Now, as you see right here, I built a Warden's Mail and a Ruby Crystal to make me just a little bit more tanky, because most of their team was AD. I do die here, and the Vayne does get a lag issue, which makes her die. But she does reconnect and try her hardest, but their fed Darius does too good. I do pick up a Randuin's because it's yet again another ability to keep someone next to you. That's the trick with Darius. You have to keep the enemy next to you. You have to do as much damage as possible, and you have to make sure you can get max stacks of hemorrhage before you actually go in for killing blows. But that's pretty much all the stipulations with him. They're all trying to defend the inhib from these, and they're actually doing quite well. I mean, most of them do have some abilities. The Nidalee does die, and the Nexus does die to super minions. Anyway, if you enjoyed the content provided, leave a like. If you want to stay current, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later.
Victory!